And of course, the market is always changing. There's new trends, there's mobile, there's data privacy, and all kind of different changes in this niche. One of the biggest mistakes we see with marketers is they are just simply try to focus on the closing the sale too much. They try to close everyone right away. Having your own data, your own list, and your own channel to really reach these customers and to nurture the relationships with them is more important than ever.
So on today's episode, you're going to learn about why you should be helping users rather than selling to them. It's a terrific episode. You do not want to miss it. Do stay tuned. Hello, 2Xers. Welcome to the 2X e-commerce podcast. I'm your host, Kunle Campbell. The 2X e-commerce podcast show is dedicated to digital commerce insights for retail and e-commerce teams. So each week on this podcast, we interview a commerce expert, a founder of a direct-to-consumer e-commerce business or a digital native commerce brand, or a representative from a best-in-class commerce SaaS product with a tight remit to give you ideas you can test right away on your brand so you can improve conversion growth metrics such as your average order value, your repeat purchase customers, audience size, and ultimately your sales and conversions in general. We're here to help you sell more sustainably. So welcome. Now, on today's episode, it's an interview I was looking forward to having. I remember the early days of 2X e-commerce. I got reached out by this gentleman. His name is Csaba Zajdó. He is the co-founder of OptiMonk. Back in the days, it was all about they labeled themselves an exit intent platform, and they were kind enough to work with me and some of my clients. And on 2X e-commerce, if you landed on 2X e-commerce, you'd have a pop-up from their company essentially. And over the years, they've evolved from serving, I'd say, content sites and the like. They'd always had that commerce orientation and they were very, very data driven anyway. So they could sort of understand segment through your website. They still do it. But now their offering is significantly expanded. We're talking, they're now doing pop-ups, side messages, sticky bars, full screen surveys, and gamification. Also, they have email and SMS capture now, abandoned carts use cases, visitor guide use cases, recommended products use cases, offer use cases, obviously, with the pop-ups and collecting customer feedback. So quizzes, feedback. They have evolved, essentially. Let's just put it that way. And the conversation I have with Csaba was more around their perspective on conversions. How do you view conversions now in 2022 with issues with data privacy, essentially? How do you sort of deal with all that's happening now in 2022 with customer data and conversions, essentially? He is a great proponent, as myself, on the importance of micro conversions and then the importance of actually nurturing emails and using SMS as a conversion channel, essentially as a VIP list. I really liked his take on that. So we just go through the customer journey in e-commerce, essentially, and how you can add value at every step in the customer journey. And this in itself is a concept called customer value optimization. And we go in depth in the need for surveys, understanding segments, and just having that philosophy of rather than looking for conversions, look at how you can add value at every step of the customer journey, whether they're in a category page, a product page. They have different motivations. Even the traffic sources all have like different motivations. So we go through all of that. He really breaks down how to look at traffic, how to really view traffic coming through to your site, and knowing that it is nuanced, right? Not everybody's in buy mode, and the fact that your conversions are 2, 3, 4, 5%, if you're lucky, does not mean that the 95% or the 98% is lost. It just means that they may not necessarily be ready, or you're not answering their concerns or their questions, their objections on your site. So it gives you that philosophy, that's just a methodology for addressing the customer journey, really addressing steps, hurdles that naturally come all through the customer journey. Terrific episode. I enjoyed it. It was about 35 or so minutes. Terrific convo. Looking forward to catching you on the other side. So enjoy this interview and cheers. Hey Chaba, it's a pleasure to have you on the 2x e-commerce podcast show. It's been years I've been wanting you to be on here, so welcome, a warm welcome.
It's great to be here. Hey.
Fantastic. For those, should we go back because we've been in Comunicado since 2015, and if I was to think about that, that was when I actually started the podcast and 2x e-commerce. You guys supported me a lot. We exchanged lots of emails. We've jumped in conversations, but this is the first time we're actually seeing each other. Do you want to give people a bit of your background? So before OptiMonk, what did you do? Why OptiMonk? And and what are you guys up to today?
Yeah, so actually it was 2015 when we started OptiMonk, really. So it was
Wow.
it was a start for both of us.
Wow.
But actually, I've been into e-commerce for about 10 years, even before then. In 2006, I started my first company. Actually, it was an e-commerce agency, I would call it. It became one of the biggest e-commerce agencies in Central Eastern Europe, and we've created thousands of e-commerce sites. And since then, this company grew into one of the top e-commerce powerhouses in Hungary. This is the country where I'm living right now. And since we've been working with hundreds of clients on a very close contact, there was always quite the same problems and needs appearing, and they were spending a lot of money on marketing, but they were having suboptimal conversions and conversion rates. So we started looking around what kind of solutions exist on the market, and we realized that actually no really good solutions for these problems, and that's when we started OptiMonk. Just realizing that the average small and medium business lacks the necessary tool to really compete against the Amazons of the world.
Interesting. So were you, as an e-commerce consultant, were you on the CRO, sorry, agency rather? Were you on the CRO side? Were you on web design, acquisition, retention? What kind of services did you render?
Yeah, we were mostly focusing on the design and the setup and creating the e-commerce store. We also did some marketing, but to be honest with you, we really focused on the conversion sides in most cases, and rather worked with other marketing, more marketing focused agencies.
Okay, interesting. So you have a CRO background, and then you how did the idea for OptiMonk come? Because at the time, email capture was quite novel, and I know you do more than email capture now. But how did you sort of ideate, OptiMonk, and how did you just go to market?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I've been I wrote my first ebooks about e-commerce conversion rate optimization like 14 years ago. It was such a long time ago, and since then we've been running numerous thousands of experiments on topics. So we really monitor the market and work closely with the best e-commerce brands. And whenever we see a new option, we just test it out. We always had our assumptions, of course, but in retrospective, most of them turn out to be, well, just not valid. But the only way to really figure it out is to test it. So I guess we've become kind of experts on A/B testing a lot of stuff. We also have a lot of in-house technology on how to do A/B testing and A/B test these different type of technologies. And whenever we feel that someone is working and we see that, or we see great numbers with one client, we try to pilot it with some other clients as well. And if all these early results are promising, then we usually just go in and create a solution for it. And the goal is to really test it first with a lot of manual work, and if it's working, then make it as a solution which could be set up by the average merchant with a few clicks, and make it as easy as possible.
Super interesting. So OptiMonk, how have you guys, what are you guys up to? Just give us an update on OptiMonk, and then we'll jump right into. I really want to talk about like conversions in general in this over this call. But where are you guys now in OptiMonk? Please give us an update.
So as I said, we started in 2015, and since then, well, we grew quite a lot. It's a long journey. Now we have more than 4,000 customer domain websites, e-commerce merchants using OptiMonk around the world. The majority of them are on English-speaking countries: US, Canada, Australia, UK, but we also have quite a lot of European customers as well. And actually, I think we definitely have customers or websites from every country in the world. And I would say that the need for conversion rate optimization and to really get the maximum out of your traffic and your marketing hasn't gone away. So it's still a very important problem, and we are still trying to find always the best and newest solutions for this problem. And of course, the market is always changing. There's new trends, there's mobile, there's data privacy, and all kind of different changes in this niche. And well, we always try to experiment with the best solutions that always fits the current trends.
Super interesting, and I see the focus is Shopify. So you have your G2 leader, winner of 2022, 9 out of 4.9 out of 5, 400-star reviews. Shopify has taken off over the world, especially in the SME space for e-commerce. Is that the focus now in OptiMonk, like direct to consumer e-commerce?
Yes. I mean, Shopify is our main market, but actually, OptiMonk's work with most e-commerce systems, WooCommerce, Magento, and all the rest actually is compatible with OptiMonk. There are some special features which are really just works with Shopify, but I would say 90% of our features also work with a uniquely developed e-commerce site too. And yes, as you say, that those who actually try OptiMonk and see the results, they usually understand why they actually need such a solution. Our biggest problem is that most merchants don't even realize that they have the need for such a solution. They see that, all right, they have some conversion rate problems, they have some issues here and there. Facebook ad-wise, it sucks. Still, they don't really go deep and try to figure out why, and they don't try to address all these issues with the right solutions.
Absolutely, and I which brings us to our next topic, which is the need, and I keep on preaching it, or I've preached it in the past, for micro conversions. Just really locking down. It's a chain at the end of the day, and your conversion rate might be 2%. Your purchase conversion rate might be 2%. But are you measuring your add to cart conversion rate, your initiate checkout, conversion rate, and even your email capture conversion rate? Are you even capturing emails? And so, in today's world, from your perspective, how should e-commerce operators look at conversion rate optimization? Because it's got a lot of flack in recent years, and we've seen it move a lot up to enterprise, where there's a lot of numbers to crunch. There's the critical mass to actually statistical significance to actually crunch those numbers and get proper results off the back of split testing. What is your philosophy on just conversion rate optimization now in 2022?
All right, so the 2% conversion rate which you mentioned, so that's the macro conversion rate. That's a lag matrix. That's an indicator of the whole process, the whole website. But actually, when a visitor comes to your website, it's a journey. It's a series of steps. It's a series of micro conversions. And to get to the end result, to get to the sale, to the big micro conversion, you have to walk through the customer through a series of micro steps. And just letting go of the end site and just trying to help the user in just the right micros at the page where they had just arrived, and not trying to push them towards the purchase right away, but rather helping them will result in much better results. One of the biggest mistakes we see with marketers is they are just simply try to focus on the closing the sale too much. They try to close everyone right away, while the big majority of the visitors of your traffic is simply not ready to buy right away when they arrive to your site. We've known since the 1970s that all users go through a series of steps, a series of awareness stages, and to truly become paying customers and to push that buy button at the very end, they first have to be aware of everything. They have to dissolve their uncertainties. They have to really understand how your product solves that problem. First, they have to become problem aware. And for example, problem-aware users who are in the earlier stage of the user journey, helping them first find the right solutions to their problems instead of hey, buy right now, will result in much better results.
Yeah. And then after problem aware, what other steps in the context of e-commerce, come from that step?
Yeah, so we have 5 awareness stages. The first is unaware, when the user doesn't even doesn't know that he or she has a problem. Then they become problem aware. I'm losing sleep. I have this insomnia stuff. All right. Then he or she starts looking for solutions. All right. So how can I sleep better? And then they find your product. Okay. So they have this supplement. Interesting. He or she becomes problem aware. And then when all these uncertainties are gone and there's no other doubts. All right, so this is right for me. This will ship in time. Okay, this is what I will exactly get. And all these questions get answered, which might stop him or her from buying. That's when the order will actually be placed, and that's when he or she become fully aware. And understanding where your users are in their own buying journey based on their behavior on your website will make a huge difference on your capability to actually help them. If they are on a solution page, for example, which is usually a category page, a listing page is usually about picking the right product. Which of these options will best solve my need? And most marketers really just put out a list of products there with some pictures and maybe the name and the price, and that's all. But and they assume that customers know how to pick from these products, but most merchants usually don't know. They just see a lot of similar products. They look for them, about the same, and really they need guidance, they need help, they need recommendations, they really need education about, all right, so which of these products really the best for you? And for example, in a category page, giving them, hey, 10% off is really not super helpful, but rather offering them a quiz. Hey, just answer a few questions and I will help you. Or this is the buying guide, or this is the top 3 products, for example, just giving some personalized recommendations. These can all be much more helpful in making them products. Making them this next step, this micro conversion, and pick the right product. And then when they are already product page, then you can start giving a lot of promises about that product. But before that, your goal is just to have them pick the right product from your category.
Yeah. Makes sense. And then they get into a products page. So in your opinion, what should a product page do? What's the function of a high performing product page?
Again, my best advice from a product page perspective is just assume that your visitors will not meet any other page on your website. That assume that if it was your only page your visitor ever sees, would they be comfortable buying your product? If not, then you still need to upgrade this product page. Again, marketers assume that your customers has the same domain knowledge as you do, and that they can translate all this information, all these features of your product into values, into benefits, but they cannot. So your goal is really to help them understand all the benefits, all the values your product has, and then also to answer all their questions, which might appear in their heads. All right. And for example, for that, customer tickets, questions, feedback surveys can all be super helpful to really understand what kind of problems, issues are actually stopping users from buying these products. Apple as a brand, just if you look at any product page of Apple, they are experts. Really, I think they really nail it. How you can present super boring, super technical stuff, because they have like zooms and resolutions and processing times and whatever. So how could all this boring stuff be presented in a super customer oriented way, emphasizing the benefits and the values all these features actually create for the customers. And if you feel that the customer is really interested in the product and they have they've spent maybe a minute on your page, then it's time to start nudging them towards the purchase. Then you can offer them a 10% discount, for example, if you do this, if you order right now, but not before that. Then before that, your goal is really to educate them and to dissolve their uncertainties.
Super interesting. So my assumption is, with the unaware stage, the problem aware stage, those typically happen outside with your advertising, with your influencers, with the content you're putting up on YouTube, for instance, on search, and then the website experience actually starts with the solution finding, where okay, they're now problem aware and they're looking for a solution. Do you want to just clarify that little bit of detail, please?
Yes, most D2C brands nowadays, well, not most, but a lot of D2C brands nowadays do content marketing. And when you do content marketing, especially for SEO purposes, but also for Facebook ads, you often create problem-based articles, right? Hey, 5 reasons or 5 solutions to help with better sleep, for example, right? And that article is specifically for problem-aware users. And in that article, you are actually building solution awareness, and of course, you are also kind of building some kind of product awareness and basically introducing your products as the best solution. So in this case, at the very beginning of your own funnel, there will be a huge amount of problem-aware users, and pushing them to the checkout button right away when they are just started reading about the problem is definitely not working too well. But making them join your club, your community, offering them education, or giving them some gamified message of, hey, just sign up to just join our club and you will get the opportunity to win this super awesome product, for example, it works much better than, again, offering just discounts.
Okay, makes sense. I have this is just an off-field question, which is, why is it important? Is it still important to build a list, an email list or a mobile phone list? Which would you do? Email, mobile? Would you do both? What do you think is the relationship now, especially with privacy? coming from Apple, particularly with email collection and cell phone collection or mobile phone collection.
Yeah. So this playbook of just getting visitors and then remarketing them as long as it takes is just going away. This world is changing. All this privacy makes just kills this strategy, and it's just going worse. So having your own data, your own list, and your own channel to really reach these customers and to nurture the relationships with them is more important than ever. Uh, Email is, I would say, it's better for just lead nurturing, to just send content and to educate them on lots of different topics. SMS, on the other hand, is better on doing sales and special offers and discounts. We usually say that you should handle your SMS list as some kind of VIP list of yours, and whenever you do some special offers, it makes sense to do these SMS specific offers. The good news is that you don't have to pick either or, but you can actually build both at the same time. There's already quite some use cases we have, and some new already coming out, which makes building email and SMS lists at the same time totally possible and even recommended. Those users which get the education, the nurturing in email from you and regularly sees your brand in email, and then every once in a while get some special offers, some special discount in SMS, usually, that's working the best in terms of optimizing the cost and the.
Interesting. So email lead nurturing and your VIP SMS list really is for those sales, getting those conversions.
Absolutely.
What's a good opt-in rate now for email? As you said, email and mobile. And do you get any conversion drop if you ask for just one bit of data? How does it compare with asking for two? You probably also ask for a name, I would presume, versus just asking for one. And what kind of conversion rate should operators expect to
Yeah.
get?
So on a global scale, as we read, the average conversion rate of these pop-ups is around 3 to 5%. With OptiMonk, our average is around 10%. And so that we always tell customers that if your pop-up is converting below 10%, then you have optimization potential there. There's a lot of customers with super nicely crafted pop-ups with way above 20, even sometimes above 30% conversion rates, which is really huge. And when you are building both lists, I would say that the goal which you should aim for is that you could turn like 12 to 20% of your visitors to email subscribers, and half of them you could also get their phone numbers. So
Okay.
out of 100, you will get maybe 16 email subscribers and maybe 8 phone subscribers,
Okay.
SMS subscribers.
16 email. Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's significant. That's significant, and then 8. Okay. What about other use cases for pop-up? So what has transpired now? Obviously, with the sensitivity of data, with data protection, a lot of retailers are collecting zero-party data, from customers. And when you look at the Shopify ecosystem, you had like some pop-up services that were essentially just purely doing pop-ups, email collection, and then there was some that started out with quiz first, going for a quiz first approach. How do you see other use cases, particularly quizzes, um, and even cart abandonment or getting feedback? What are the use cases do pop-ups or just intent
Yeah,
driven
absolutely.
models have in e-commerce?
So, I mean, list building and getting, building your email list is the quite obvious first choice for most marketers to use pop-ups for. And it's no magic. It works wonderfully, and this pop-ups are way the most effective way to build your list. But it works because pop-ups and overlays in general are the super helpful way to get personalized secondary messages to your customers. What I mean secondary is that the primary message is really on the web page. Hey, you are, for example, someone arrived to your category page or your product page, and they are, you are just selling that product, and that's fine. Yeah. But if they are, for some reason, they are not ready to buy, then you can have a lot of options to communicate secondary messages. And based on whatever what do you believe the reason for not buying, you can present a lot of different messages. You can either ask for their feedback. Hey, what stops you from buying? And you can just use a simple survey. Or if they just visited your product page and they try to leave in the first 15 seconds, it means that it means that they had some interest in the product, but it was not a good fit. Then you could offer them similar products, or you can, hey, just wait a second, just check out our most popular products within this category
on the pop-up.
On the pop-up, or it could be also a side message, a sticky bar, depending the format. Really, is just whether you want it to be more aggressive or more user friendly. But definitely, you can help them choose a better product in case they were not satisfied with the one they are browsing right now. Or, of course, if they show deep interest in the product and stay, then, of course, you can close the purchase and try to close the purchase and offer them a discount if they buy or they subscribe. Yeah. But, of course, the quizzes come really super nice if you don't know what exactly they are interested in. If they are on the homepage, for example, not on the product, but on the homepage, for example, and you sell a lot of different products, of course, it's often super hard to know, okay, which product, which offer would they be interested in. Then just trying to segment these users and get some personalized data on, all right, so what problem are you trying to solve? Weight loss, better sleep, or better skin, or whatever. And for example, just asking them this first question. For problem-based questions are usually working the best, and maybe even incentivizing sometimes this question. By the way, that you will also get 10% off if you answer this question. It can have the incentive, and also, but it starts with a question. They click on their problem. I'm losing sleep, and then you can, all right, fantastic. I mean, it's not fantastic, but all right. And no, I know your problem. And then you can make them sign up. And also you can promote them, again, personalized offer. And you can communicate based on their needs. And what's even better, what pop-ups really allow you, is that you can create these personalized messages for these users anywhere on the site. So, for example, let me give you an example. If you are running different Facebook ads, if you are running a Facebook ad for better sleep, and you are running a different ad for weight loss, for example, right? Then, when the user clicks on the ad, then you will see, if you do the UTM parameters right from the URL, you will see that, all right, whether this user came from the better sleep or the weight loss ad version. And based on this parameter, whenever he or she tries to leave the site later, a few minutes later, you can still offer them a personalized message. Hey, if you still want better sleep, here's my offer for you. Or if you want weight loss, here's my better offer for you. Again, you don't just have to push the same message to everyone, but the right message to the right people. And that's the superpower of pop-ups, that you can really personalize your messages to every individual, and you have a lot of data you can work with.
Interesting, incredible. You talked about CVO, which is customer value optimization, and the fact that it is really offering value at every stage of the customer journey. It sounds to me that when your systems on your site are more aware about what each traffic, who is on the site, you're able to offer more tailored solutions, which is the value essentially to them, and that boils down to personalization really, and segmentation, at least segmentation, which leads on to personalization, which I find very, very fascinating. So for just data savvy marketers listening to this episode, how would you recommend? You mentioned something really important in terms of UTM tagging. How would you recommend they segment customers in order to get the best out of these customer engagement tools, such as OptiMonk?
Well, it really depends on the product. It really depends on the product. Whether you are solving one big problem for different people, or there's a lot of different solutions, different categories. I would say, I mean, there's two main group of data you can use. There's the what we call zero-party data, which they explicitly give you, like they click on this conversational pop-ups that, hey, I'm losing sleep, or I need better skin, or whatever. Or you can use this their email, or basically you can ask any number of questions, and you can use all this zero-party data to really personalize not just your pop-ups, but all kind of messaging after they leave your site, your emails, your SMS, your retargeting. And you have this what we call it first-party data, basically, which just is based on the behavior. Hey, what kind of pages? What kind of pages they are visiting? What source they arrive from? Do they arrive from a Facebook ad or a Google ads, for example? It's often very different. People searching for a specific product and coming from a product ad, usually they are a high intent. They usually are much more product aware. Those who've just seen a Facebook ad, for example, they are usually in a much earlier stage of their user journey. Or, of course, the landing page. What kind of, based on the landing page, is it the category page? Is it the product page? Is it the home page? It's a totally different awareness stage for the customers, which you can use to personalize this message. Or, of course, as I said, even just by running lots of different ads as a segmentation, kind of, classifying users into big groups, segments, you can, well, depending on the total traffic and your resources which you have, you can find the right balance between segmenting these users into some subgroups and creating the most specialized messages for these tailored messages for these subgroups. And what OptiMonk also offers, by the way, is not just you can create a specific message, a specific pop-up for each segment, but you can also personalize if you can often just create one message, one pop-up, and customize this pop-up based on this zero and third-party data. If you know their name, for example, if they know their returning users, if you know which products they've seen, you can use all these products dynamically in your pop-ups. You don't have to manually create a different scenario and a different message for each and every individual, because it would be impossible. But you can really just create a couple of nicely crafted and targeted messages and use the personalization features of OptiMonk. So at the end result from the user perspective is that everyone will see a very personalized message at just the right moment.
Yeah, yeah, and the versatility of the tool set you guys have. So you have pop ups, you have side messages, you have sticky bars. You could do full screen now, because I remember we couldn't do full screen back in the days. And then you do surveys. And then, do you want to just shed a bit more light on your gamification? How does gamification work? What do best in class e-commerce, D2C e-commerce, brands, how are they using your gamification tools for as a competitive edge?
Yeah, so gamification, actually, we have three different main solution types for gamification. One is this classic lucky wheel pop-ups, just spin the wheel, and then you can win something. It's really great to really upgrade the outlook, the perspective of your offers, of your discount. If you don't want, if you can only offer like 10% discount on average, but you want it to make look better, then just putting on the lucky wheel like a 20% off and also a 5% off will and the average user will of course just win on average 10%. Still, the perception of it will be much better, and just having the chance to win, by the way, is usually a big motivating factor for many users. For early stage users, gamification messages usually convert with 12 to 18%. So they have super high conversion rates. And beside Lucky Wheels, you also have scratch cards. And now what we are, yeah, it's a less sexy, I would say, but it
like
also it also works really well. And now we are experimenting with these mystery offers, when basically you are just it's a simple offer where you are not disclosing your offer right away, but using this mystery. Hey, that you can win something really well. One of our clients just reached more than 20% conversion rate with such a mystery offer, which is I would say it's we were really surprised when we've seen this message.
Do the mystery offers link to a product you add to cart? How would you sort of implement that in D2C if you're given a mystery offer?
The simplest version is that you just, hey, sign up for our newsletter and you will get a super mystery offer. It will be super nice. And on the thank you page, you just show them what this offer was, and all right, just continue browsing. So that's the simplest version. But of course, you can use this one to ask questions, and that's what we usually recommend. That on the second page, you don't have to just disclose everything right away, but you can ask a question. All right, okay, thank you for signing up. I will show you this mystery offer right away. But first, tell me what you are interested in. All right, and what took you here. All right, and what's your problem? And just asking a few questions and just clicking, making the user click on one of these options will usually not result in any kind of churn, but it will get you a lot of zero-party data based on which you can show a personalized thank you page. For example, if they show, all right, for example, if they clicked on, all right, I'm losing sleep, then on the thank you page, you can show them your, all right, here are our top solutions for better sleep, for example. And by the way, this is my special offer. And you can also use it later on to personalize your exit offers, your recommendations, your lead nurturing email series, whatever, based on the knowledge that, all right, I know that this guy has sleeping problems, so I shouldn't, bombard him or her with, weight loss products and articles.
Super interesting. I could go on and on and on and on with this conversation, but I'm just deeply appreciative of the tips you've shared, and kind of like your philosophy to optimization, which is really value based. It's got me thinking, and I'm sure it's got the audience thinking. For those who want to sort of follow your work, follow OptiMonk, what social media are you most active on? And for those who want to just find out more about OptiMonk, it's just optimonk.com, OptiMonk.com. But for you, Csaba, how do people want to sort of reach out to you?
I recommend using LinkedIn.
Okay.
I'm trying to be more active on LinkedIn right now, and I also recommend reading my guide to customer value optimization. This is, I would say, a summary of this whole principle, of this whole methodology of rather trying to help the users instead of trying to sell them. If you want to read this guide, just optimonk.com/CVO. That's a super easy link. That's a good, easy introduction to CVO, and I think that's a good start.
Thanks, Csaba. It's been an incredible, just incredible session really with you. And we want to appreciate you for coming on the 2x e-commerce podcast.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Cheers.